Welcome back to the Sideline Live podcast. You can follow us over on Twitter and Instagram at the Sideline Live. We'd love to hear from you. On episode 45, I am delighted to be joined by one of Ireland's young and upcoming athletes, Ciara Neville. In this episode, we discuss all things training and routine, setbacks and success, dealing with injuries, signing with Puma, and so much more. I thoroughly enjoyed chatting with Ciara, so I hope you enjoyed the episode. Hi Ciara, thanks a million for coming on the podcast.
Thanks so much. I'm excited.
Would you be able to give yourself a bit of an introduction to the audience who might not know who you are?
Yeah, my name is Ciara Neville and I am 21 years old from Limerick, and I do athletics, specifically the 100 metres with a few 60 metres and a few 200 metres thrown in there. But yeah, I'm a third year student in sport and exercise science in UL, so that's me.
Brilliant. We're going to get into everything. Growing up, why running? I know you did a couple of sports. I was watching the Avonmore protein milk ad. What kind of drew yourself to the running?
It was actually my best friend in school. She lives like literally just across the road from me, but her mom was the athletics coach down in UL. So we used to just go down like messing after school and like running around and just like annoying her while she was trying to coach, basically. Like, but then we got involved in the community games like with my local parish. And then, so we used to do like relay teams and stuff like that. And then I just stuck at it. And like, cause all my friends kind of started doing it as well. So like, we had such a laugh, like, doing it like that. It was a bit more chilled than like the like GA team, because like, the way it's a big team, like, like if everyone's talking, that's not going to go down well. Like, So yeah, that's how it started. And then I kind of just stuck with it, to be honest. Like I was doing a bit of everything until I was, I'd say 15 or 16. I kept the hockey and the Gaelic football until then. And then I kind of just, because that was my favourite. I don't know, team sports maybe wasn't for me. I preferred the individual, but I stuck with it. And ever since, just kept going.
Brilliant. Why do you think the team sport wasn't for you? I'm just interested because I know you do the relay. So how do you find maybe as an individual athlete going into the relay?
Yeah, I don't think it's that like it doesn't suit me or that I don't like it. I just found, I think, having just myself, like being, it's my responsibility to get, like it's not anyone else's. I think that's just what I liked most about it, that it was just like me putting in the hard work as opposed to relying on someone else. But I think the relay team, like everyone is so 100% focused on their own training when we come together. So then it just works well. Whereas, on a GA pitch, you might have someone who was out the night before, like, and they're slacking on the pitch. Like, whereas
you're looking at the one who's doing that.
I think that's what drew me to it. Yeah.
So you kind of went through secondary school. I think you went, correct me if I'm wrong, the European Youth Olympics. Is that the competition you won when you were about 15 or 16? 15,
yeah, 2015. That was it. Yeah.
What was that like?
Oh, it was unreal. Like that year was my first year representing Ireland. I had like kind of a breakthrough in the indoors of 2015. And so then I qualified for the European juniors as well. That same year, they were on about 2 weeks before it. And I was only 15 and it was under 20s. Like, so I was just going like, I'll just go and, a bit of experience, see how I get on, like, so I actually got out of the heat and made it to semi-final. So I was actually buzzing, like, and then I came home and we literally had like one day to like wash all my clothes, repack my bag and get back up to Dublin Airport to go out to the European Youth. Like, so I think having that competition beforehand like gave me a bit of confidence and kind of had me prepared for the European Youth. Like, so I went out there and it was all like my friends, like we were all the same age and we'd be at the schools competitions together. Like, so we had a bit of crack. Like we were there for about 2.5 weeks. Like, so yeah, that was just unreal. Like literally it was probably one of the best trips, like, because you have so many different sports thrown in there together. Like, so yeah, it was just class experience.
Yeah, I was chatting to Amy O'Donoghue about it and she was like, it's obviously the mini version of the Olympics because, and you said it's really cool because you have athletes from loads of other sports, and then it's just, you mentioned there you're having the crack with people you used to racing against, and it's kind of a 2.5 week holiday, but you race in the middle. Yeah,
and there's only one person per event as well, so you're actually not even racing against anyone on the team. Like, it's just one person from each event. And then and I actually still like kind of meet people from it now, like from like swimming and like cycling and stuff like that, and it's so funny, like you meet them in the institute and you're like, God, like, so people haven't changed in the slightest because it was like nearly 7 years ago, like, and so many people look the exact same. It's hilarious. Like,
Yeah, that's good. And what was it like, obviously, getting to the podium and hearing the anthem and seeing the flag? Did you cry, or did you hold it together?
I held it together actually, quite just about. I'd say like it's more like a shock. Like I wasn't really expecting it. It kind of came around like so quick, like not so quickly, but I was kind of only getting going like in my athletics career. Like I think
Yeah.
I had only given up like hockey and football like during the year that year, and then that was in the summer just before I went into TY, I think it was.
Okay.
Um, so yeah, it was just a bit surreal to be honest. Like it took a while to sink in, like, and then it just made me hungry for more, to be honest.
Yeah. How did you find in secondary school kind of trying to balance everything? Like, obviously, secondary school is a busy time where it's academics, as you said, you had other sports, then your, social life starts to kind of develop. How did you find having to balance the commitment of training among everything else?
Yeah, it's a funny one because like you've so much going on and like your lives are almost like two separate things. Like the teachers don't really know about like the sports that go on outside of school. Like athletics
Yeah.
wasn't really a school sport as per se. Like
Okay.
people who wanted to do an athletics in school actually came to like my club training on a Wednesday. Like that was how it worked. Like so,
Okay.
uh, so yeah, I think I played a bit of hockey with the school kind of in TY just because we nothing else, like 2 days off school, like it
Yeah.
wasn't too bad. And then
Yeah.
I suppose fifth and sixth year like is where it winds up a bit. And like to be honest, athletics was my number one priority, not school, not school. Like but I
Okay.
obviously tried to do my best in school as well, but few of the teachers weren't too excited about that. Like when I was missing days of school to go away to competitions and stuff, like one of my teachers actually told me to give running a back seat, like, and he was forever my least favorite teacher after that moment. Like, I think he was
Yeah.
new in the school, so didn't really know, like, he didn't really know anything about me, only that, like, teachers were saying, oh, yeah, she was missing school. But, like, I remember going to a competition in, I think it was the European Indoors in March 2017. So, no, actually, March 2018. So it was just either before or after my freeze. I can't even remember. But I actually brought, like, school books with me, like, to do work and everything, like, so
Oh,
I
wow.
tried to
You're
keep the
very
school
committed.
going, like, but
Yeah.
yeah, athletics was always the number one.
Yeah, yeah. And what was it like with your friends trying to balance that? Because I suppose, fifth and sixth year, probably a couple of parties and going out and stuff. But obviously, when you're committed, like you said there, if you race or competition, were they fairly understanding with, you're committed to running here?
Yeah, most of my friends from school actually they did athletics, but they all gave it up. And when we were, I'd say, yeah, like 15 or 16, when the parties, 18s and all that start happening, like, but
Yeah.
they kind of knew the commitments, like, so they weren't like forcing me to go out or like, like they just understood. So it wasn't too bad in that way. But yeah, I suppose like it was just kind of picking and choosing really. Like, I might go to the odd 18th, but or like most of the time I would just kind of go for an hour or two and not drink and go home.
Okay.
So yeah, it's kind of just prioritizing your life and kind of organizing everything to see what fits in. But yeah, I actually, it's funny, like, cause I don't mind not going out or anything like that. Like I'm happy. It's not like
Okay.
it's a sacrifice. And
Yeah.
people are like, oh, you must hate missing out. Like, and I'm like, no, not really.
Okay.
Like I
Yeah.
enjoy going out with my friends for like dinner and stuff instead. Like I'd much prefer that, like than, being out all night. Like sleep is far too important for me.
Yeah. So you obviously then just your love of athletics shines out. Because I was actually going to ask, do you ever get jealous of, I suppose, missing out on the typical teenage or college experience? But it sounds like you're fairly content getting a full night's sleep and getting up for training.
Yeah, no, I don't mind too much. Like, and like we have like, a month off season. So it's nice then to, I suppose, go out with my friends and catch up with people from school and stuff like that who I wouldn't bump into all the time. So
Yeah.
yeah, it is nice to kind of live a normal life a bit like for the bit of the off season, but I'm happy to go back into training then after that.
Yeah, good, good. I want to talk to you a little bit about the World Relays, or the relay team in the under-20s. That must have been summer leaving cert, was it? Or am I a year early?
Summer of leaving cert, yeah, 2018. Yeah, I just finished my leaving cert.
Talk us through that experience. Silver medal, that was pretty cool, I have to say.
Yeah, it was unbelievable. It was just, yeah, it was class. Like, I did the individual in the 100 and 200. Yeah, I was. I remember I was really happy with my heat to get of the 100 to get out of the heat in the semi, and then I was kind of disappointed with the semi. So I was like, oh, I'll just go do the 200 to clear my head. Like, so I actually didn't do the heat of the relay because I
Okay.
had the 200 after it. I'm going to say, but we kind of knew that like our team was really strong and that we would make it through the final pretty easily if everything went according to plan. So I stepped in for the final, and yeah, it was just unbelievable to celebrate together. Like we've been as a team, like I've been doing the relay team since 2015. And we always we always were just thereabouts and missed out. Like in 2015, we came fourth in the juniors, 16, we came fifth in the world, 17, we came fourth in juniors again. So 18, we were just so happy to get on the podium. It was just unbelievable.
Yeah. What's it like coming forward? I'd say it's fairly heartbreaking.
Yeah, the first year we were actually kind of happy to come forward because it was our first year. We were like, we saw it as like a big achievement to come in the top 5, and then the following year for the World Juniors, that was the World. We were such a young team, so fifth we were happy with. But then in 17 coming forward, like we were absolutely gutted. Like we didn't have a great like race together. Like there was a few kind of just mishaps in the baton changes, so that kind of just hurt a little more, knowing that we could have came third. So to follow up with second the next year, which was unbelievable. Yeah, we felt like we did it for like everyone who's been through the relay system, because obviously some people are out of age and all that. Like as you move, they're in age 1 year and then next year they're too old. So yeah, it was unbelievable. And for the coach as well, like she's been the same coach up and through the years. So yeah, it was just class.
That's something I noticed as well with the Olympics and a number of the events this year and last year. Irish athletics seems to really be putting itself back on the map. Like that relay performance 2018, now we saw obviously the guys in the Olympic final this year. Irish athletics just seems to be on the rise with just the likes of yourselves, the younger ones, maybe the ones mid-20s, they're just flying at the moment.
Yeah, I think everyone's just getting inspired by each other. Like I think that second place for us inspired a lot of people and kind of showed that like if we actually put money and like focus on the relay teams, that we can do something special. And then that's just inspiring everyone really, because everyone wants to be on the relay teams or be there at the championships individually as well. So yeah, it's just great for everyone really to be pushing each other on, even in different events.
To get a silver medal, obviously it takes a lot of training. Can you take us through what it actually takes for yourself, like sort of a weekly schedule that you have?
Yeah, so it kind of changes throughout the year. I mean, yeah, like at different stages of the year. So like winter training, we just start off with kind of getting the fitness back and like getting the legs moving again and getting all the strength work in the gym. So that's kind of everyone's least favorite part. Like it's the winter nights and the mud on the grass and all that. Like we're used to the track, not the mud. But yeah, it kind of most of the time works out at about 6 track sessions, or sometimes 5 if we're coming up to a competition, and about 2 gym sessions a week. So we get 1 day off. 2 days we have two sessions of the day. So it can be busy. Like those 2 days that you have 2 sessions kind of have to be sorted out with my college timetable, just to make sure that I can fit them both in with having rest and stuff in between. But I think it's just like time management. So that just kind of takes me through like figuring it out. But it's almost like the days you have the day off, like you don't know what to do with yourself. Like it's like I don't have anything really, because usually the weekend, like so you're like, oh, a full day to relax. Like so it's nice to have that as well. But yeah.
What do you do to like on those rare off days? What do you do to relax?
I'm a big coffee fan. Like going for coffee with like my friend or my mom or something like that. Like that's just like my favorite thing to do outside of training. So yeah, definitely spend like at least an hour sitting outside the coffee shop, just chatting and catching up on the week and all that. But yeah, going to the cinema, missing that now because of COVID. Like I haven't gone since, but going to the cinema with my friends in the evening and a bit of shopping thrown in there is how it usually goes, and sitting on the couch watching Netflix, of course.
Yeah, of course. And how do you find like how do you balance not burning out? Because I suppose you say there you've 1 day off a week. Some days you're doing double sessions. Like obviously for some people that's like I would find that extremely overwhelming. I wouldn't be able for it. But how do you manage to keep that sustainability going and not kind of burn out and with everything that you're doing?
Yeah, I think it's just about like building it up and building up the tolerance. Like when we first go back training in the winter, we might just start off with like 3 days running that week, and then the next maybe add in 3 and then a gym session, then build it back up. And like the 6 days that we're running, like one of them might be really easy. Like it could just be a warm up and some strides. And like we wouldn't have 2 hard sessions back to back. So I think it's just about planning relay, which is like my coach would do all that. So I just listen to her and do what I'm told.
Yeah. You see, like I'm talking to you here, you have an extreme work ethic. Like your attitude is just, I just can feel like the relentlessness through it. Do you think did you always have that? Were you born with it, or was that something you had to develop over time?
I'd say I was born with it. Like I was very competitive and like driven in what I did. Like I would never do anything like half or like 50% measures. Like But I think it's something that does develop as well as you get older and get like more into the sport, and like when you kind of see the success, it makes you more driven again. Like, so I think I was definitely born with it and had it all along, but I think in the past few years it's definitely gotten more pronounced and stronger, just because you want it even more, I suppose.
Okay, and is that just through, like as you said there, do you find yourself more motivated by success or maybe like a setback or failure?
I think a bit of both, to be honest. Like the success makes you want more success, but then the setbacks, like the injuries, just make you want to get back to that level as opposed to just giving up or whatever. So I think it's a bit of both, to be honest, for me anyway.
Okay, and how do you deal with setbacks? Because I know we were speaking, you have a hamstring injury at the moment. How do you deal with that sort of side of not being able to do what you love, which is running and training?
Yeah, it's the worst part of the sport really, but it's just kind of part and parcel of it at the same time, especially like sprinting. Like it's the just the hamstrings and all, like those are just so pronounced in sprinting. So yeah, it's just about kind of working with your team and keeping focus on the goal and kind of setting mini challenges, like really, so that you can still have something to focus on as opposed to just sitting back and waiting for it to fix itself. Like it's more about doing exercises and little challenges that will help it get better and then help you to be stronger when you come back. So it's just trying to keep focus, I suppose, but it definitely does get tough at some stages, like especially when it drags out fairly long, and you
Yeah.
know, you might have like good news one day, but then the next week you might get bad news about it again. So yeah, it's definitely challenging, but something that I suppose you have to get used to in the sport. And just keep thinking about the good days ahead and making yourself just want it even more to get back into that level and that.
Do you keep any sort of a diary or journal, whether it's training or just trying to balance the injuries? And you said there, kind of setting yourself mini goals or challenges.
Yeah, I keep a training diary, you know, just logging my training so I can look back like and see, you know, did I have a good week or a bad week. But throughout the injury I kind of just abandoned that a bit because it was just kind of getting almost annoying, like writing down like nothing today, or like it was sore today doing this. Like, so I just kind of more so kept like notes on my phone of like what I wanted to achieve that week, and just kind of keeping like screenshot of my like gym rehab and all that, as opposed to kind of documenting each day, because I found that was actually like getting me more bogged down than not having it at all. So I'll
Okay.
definitely go back to the training diary when I go back to full training, but for now it's just here and there kind of bits and pieces in my phone.
Yeah, very good. Do you have sort of any daily habits or routines that you go through, whether it's through injury or not through injury?
Not really, to be honest. Like I'm not really like a superstitious or like that kind of person. I try to keep my routine fairly the same, to be honest. Like I like having a routine. I like knowing what I have to do the next day. Like I'll try have the full week planned out almost. Obviously things come in and out, like change fairly quickly, but definitely a coffee is one of the only things I say that stays
Yeah.
constant every day. But yeah, like I don't have anything too rigid. Like it's just get up, breakfast, coffee, and then go about my day.
I loved discussing sort of pre-game or pre-race routine. From an individual point of view, I'm always interested in sort of the preparation. You're not superstitious, but do you have anything particular, maybe in a week up to a competition or the day of the race?
Yeah, the week up is just kind of running up to is just focusing on my nutrition and my sleep and my recovery, because the training in the week leading up to a race is it's fairly low. Like we just kind of
Okay.
fine tuning things like block starts and just kind of recovery sessions like that. So the day of the race, then I'll always have my gear like laid out the night before. You know, like the bag packed. I'll have my race kit ready to go. And then the day of the race, it's funny because it changes a lot. Like you could have like a really late race, or you could have like a 10 a.m. race. So a 10 a.m. race usually is just like a really quick makeup routine and out the door. Like whereas like
Okay.
we could be in different countries and we have a race, we mightn't have to leave the hotel until like 5 or 6 in the evening. Like so that's just kind of all about chilling in the morning and then spending about an hour doing my makeup, which I can do in about 5 minutes, like, and blaring out the music and just having a bop around the room. But that can be funny as well, because sometimes you can be thrown into a room with someone who doesn't even speak English. So yeah, that can be interesting. But for the most part, it's just me dancing around the room doing my makeup before I go to the
Right.
track.
What kind of music are you listening to for a race?
I'm a bit of everything. Like I'm not someone who would listen to like too much of like Drake and all that, like, the
the hype sort of
um
stuff.
yeah, I'm more of just like whatever's in the top 50, to be honest, like, like
Okay.
singing along, having a good bop, like, as opposed to me rapping around, rapping and all that. But yeah, I just go with whatever's going.
And do you prefer those morning race with the 5 minute makeup, or do you like kind of the hanging around one?
I don't mind the morning ones if they're not too early, like if you don't have to travel too far.
Right.
Usually the morning ones you'd have a second race that day, so they're more like the kind of national ones where you
Okay.
have the heat in the morning and the final in the evening, or the international ones as well. But when you're on the European circuit and that, it's usually in the evening, and that's usually when you're away as well. So yeah, I don't mind. I actually don't mind either, to be honest. I don't know if I have a preference. Um, Maybe there's kind of more of a buzz, I suppose, in the evening ones. Like there's usually like music and stuff, and a good lot of crowd and stuff. Whereas I don't think there's much going to be in Santry on a Saturday morning at 10
Yeah.
o'clock. But yeah, no, I'm happy with both, to be honest.
How do you find then sort of balancing? You mentioned there you're in the call room maybe before a race, or in a room with whoever. When you make friends with obviously the Irish athletes, but from other countries, how do you balance having friends and like who are your competitors when you line up in the blocks? Like obviously you're racing against one another for there's only 3 medals, so there's only 3 winners. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, it's funny. I personally am friends too much with anyone that I race against from different countries in my event. Like you
Okay.
chat and say hello and all that. Like you might give them the insta like or a comment, a comment
Oh
or
right.
something like that. But I wouldn't be too friendly with anyone internationally in my race. I'd be friendly with a few of the British girls, but other than that, not too much. But like you make friends kind of with other events almost, like
Okay.
just from going to the same meets. Like I was at a couple of meets in January. We went like from Austria to Czech Republic, and you make friends with people who are going to the same meets as you almost. Like there was someone coming with us from the UK, going from the Austrian meet to the next meet. So you're on the train together or you're in the taxi together. So you make friends that way. Yeah, as opposed to kind of in the world and in the car.
Yeah, yeah. You just give each other dagger eyes and you just don't want to look at each other. But how do you find then as an individual sport? Like I'm terrible. I'm so bad at comparing myself or my team to another team. How do you find then seeing other people train? Like let's say on Instagram, the way everyone loves those like highlight reels. Look what I was doing this week. All my PBs. How do you find that? Because I remember listening to it could have been Dina Asher Smith, and she was saying at some points I think she deletes Instagram or something, or she doesn't follow her competitors. How do you find trying to balance that whole side of things?
Yeah, I actually listened to that too. I think it was Dean Ashmith. It was a podcast. She said, I think she either mutes them or doesn't follow her competitors. I think something like that.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I don't follow too much of my competitors really. Like, not because I don't want to see their posts, just I don't like,
Yeah.
But I find you think you kind of have to just remind yourself that people are putting up like the highlights of their week, like every week doesn't look like that, and every session definitely doesn't look like that. Like definitely low points too. So I think it's just taken it with a pinch of salt, really.
Yeah.
Like I don't put up too much like of my training on Instagram. I'm just like, and it's not because I don't want to, or I'm just like reels just aren't what I do. I can't make that like that. It just takes too much effort to actually plan. I need someone to video this for me, like. Um,
Yeah.
so yeah, I think just taking what people put up with a pinch of salt, like,
Right.
and not really get bogged down in it.
Yeah. So you find that you don't really compare yourself to others, really.
Yeah, I suppose like sometimes you obviously do. You're like, oh God, like they're lifting this in the gym and I'm only lifting this. But
Yeah.
like everyone has different builds, everyone has different things that work for them. Like what someone else does, that's not going to work for me, and vice versa. So you think you just need to kind of keep reminding yourself of that.
Yeah, absolutely. Something that's become really popular, especially on Instagram, you see it a lot, is visualization. Is that something you practice maybe before a race?
Yeah, definitely. Like you always want to like visualize myself coming out of the blocks, and like you want to visualize the perfect start,
Okay.
and just see it happening in your head, so that when you come to the actual race, like you're like, I've done this 1,000 times, I've seen this 1,000 times, like you know exactly what you have to do. I think it just makes it easier. And I think like people, like I don't know, like, but there's like studies that say if you visualize that, it actually visualize yourself winning, that it actually makes like it's more of a chance that you'll win and all that. But obviously
Yeah.
that's what a pinch of salt too. Like if I visualize
Yeah.
myself winning the Olympics, I don't think it's going to come through straight away. Like,
Yeah.
but yeah, I think it's not even like intentional. I think you just like find yourself thinking about the race like and picturing it in your head, as opposed to like me like, hey, I'm going to sit down and I'm going to visualize the race for 5 minutes, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, is you kind of do that probably when you're dancing around the room before doing your makeup.
Yeah.
I'd say that
Yeah.
pops into your head a bit where you're like,
Yeah.
2 hours before a race, I'm going to go in and get a good start and keep going.
Yeah, definitely.
And how do you find, like, lining up in the blocks and in the car room or any part of the day, do you get really nervous before a race, or by now do you just feel like, oh, it's nearly like your second home, you're just like, yeah, here's another race, here's another day?
Yeah, I definitely used to get really nervous, and it would almost like take over my race. Like,
Okay.
I remember in 2017, it was the European Juniors, and I had one of the fastest times going into the competition, one of the fastest times in Europe for the under 20s. And I just got so nervous the competition, like I barely made it into the final. I think I came 7th in the final. So that like was just nerves. Like I was nervous, and that just completely affected my competition. But I think since then I've learned to kind of handle it, and nowadays I actually get like excited. I'm like sitting around and
Okay.
I'm like, can we go now? I'm just excited to go. So turn it into more excited energy. But I think nerves are good, like to have some bit of nerves. Definitely, like, you know, it's just like it's different to training. Like it just makes you excited to go and ready to go, as opposed to just being like every other day.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And is that, you said you learned there from, like, you used to be nervous and now you're not really, you're excited. Is that just you learning from experience, or was there certain techniques you used, or is it just over time you just kind of mature?
I think it's a bit of both, to be honest. Like definitely over time, like I was 17 then, so you know you get more experience along the way as you go. But I think just like consciously like reminding yourself like you are capable of this, and like look what you've done, you know, in training, and like reminding yourself that you're ready for this. Like there's nothing to be nervous about. Like just go out and give it your best, I think. So it's definitely a bit about like just kind of consciously reminding yourself. But then that kind of comes at age like now you don't have to constantly think about it when you're, you know, you've picked up more experiences along the way.
I remember watching the European indoors, I think it was in January or February, but I was watching particularly the 60-metre the 60-metre sprint, and I was interested kind of when everyone lined up in the blocks and you're waiting for the like hooter or whistle or gun or whatever it is to go. What do you actually think about? Is it just like, are you just completely in the zone in the moment, or are you just thinking about kind of what's ahead?
Yeah, this year is funny. Like I was literally thinking like, here, just get to the line in one piece. Like I'd pulled my other hamstring literally exactly a month before, so I was just happy to be there, and I was happy with how I ran in the heat. Like I was surprised that, considering what I'd gone through in the month leading up to it, that I could actually produce that time. I think it was 600ths of a second off my PB. So in the heat, I was like, right, here, I just get to the line, like just finish this in one piece. Like my physio was like, after the race, she was like, I can sleep peacefully now that you made it without injuring yourself. Like, but normally, like, and in the semi-final, you're just like focusing on yourself. You're completely in the zone. Like in the 60 meters, it literally goes on for just over 7 seconds. If you make one mistake, like you're gone. Like there's no sugarcoating that. So it's literally just focusing on yourself and just focusing on the start and getting out as quick as you can, and just not worrying about anyone else.
I think you were in the lane 8 for both of those races. What is it like being on the outside lane versus the inside lane?
Yeah, it's not too bad because it's a straight line. So like it's not like in a 200 where you have to go around the bend and all that. It's definitely 1 and 8 are the worst lanes to be in, just because you've no one beside you.
Okay.
And you're kind of stuck with like the cameras and the officials beside you. So yeah, I'd definitely rather be in the middle, but it's not like you're not at any disadvantage by being on the outside. So it's not the worst, but yeah, definitely the middle is more preferable.
And in the middle of the race, you said there, like, not to put it lightly, but if you make one mistake, you know, you're gone. You could fall or just be disqualified or anything. What do you think about in the middle of the race? But again, just trying to remind myself, it is 7 seconds in the 60 meters, and it's probably like 11 seconds under 11 seconds in the 100 meters. What do you actually think about in the middle of the race?
At the start, you're just like focusing on getting out of the blocks as hard as you can. So you're literally just like telling yourself like go, go, go.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
then it's all about like the transition then. So you're transitioning from accelerating into your top flight. And I was just focusing like on pumping my arms, and like my coach always tells me that I lean for the line too early. So like I'm trying just to keep running through the line and just did with the last second. But
Okay.
it's funny, like sometimes someone asks you like, oh, like what were you thinking about? And it tends to happen for me when I have a really good race that I actually can't remember. I can't
Okay.
remember, like it was literally just like that, like, and it's not that I wasn't thinking, I was, but it was just, you can't, it's just the weirdest thing ever. Like you're like, that was literally
Okay.
a blur, like,
Okay.
um, so it's funny, yeah.
Is it kind of like that flow state people talk about, where you just like, it doesn't go slow motion, but you're just so in the zone. You just,
Yeah,
as
it
you
just,
said there, you nearly forget about it.
yeah, literally, yeah.
And what was it like then, having that full year? I think it was, or nearly a full year of training at home, lockdown, not sure what anything was going to happen. Then everything was cancelled, and then getting to go this year. I'd say that was been pretty good. Like obviously, because did you struggle training at home maybe?
For the first few weeks, well, yeah, for the first few weeks I did, I was like, oh, like, what are we even training for? Like, what's the point? Like, but then
Yeah.
I think after that, I kind of just got sick of like doing, like, not that I wasn't doing nothing, but I kind of actually started to enjoy it, like, and because there was nothing else to do really, like,
Yeah.
so yeah, I'm lucky that where I live, like, there's a lot of green space, and my coach literally lived across the road, like, so she was able to come over, like, you know, after a few
Brilliant.
weeks when things settled down, to just like watch me from a distance. So that was nice. And then I started training in the local park as well, like when things kind of opened up a little bit more. So yeah, it wasn't too bad. I don't exactly like the grass.
Okay.
Much prefer the track, but the track was closed, so we had to make do what we had. But yeah, I actually then when we went back to the track, I think it was in June, maybe the middle of June, I think, that we got back to the track. And I actually got injured about 2 weeks later. I had a stress reaction on my foot. I think it was kind of from the change of surface and all that,
Okay.
because the track that we have in UL is quite hard. So that kind of put me out. I think there was like nationals and some kind of like, you know, low competitions around Ireland as well. But so I had to sit that one out. And then I got back into it then in winter when everyone else was kind of coming back training as well. So yeah, that kind of like the end of the lockdown, kind of the summer, that was kind of a bit annoying for me, just having to rest my foot. But the depth of lockdown training, it wasn't too bad. I didn't mind training on the grass too much. I roped in my sister to do my sessions with me, so I had a bit of company.
Okay. Is she a runner or?
Not really. She does,
Okay.
like, she mainly does football and hockey. She used to do a bit more running than she does now. She just does a bit now, but she's
Okay.
quite fit from all the football. So she was useful for the longer runs, and she was doing the videoing for the shorter ones.
Oh, very good. Do you do much video analysis of your training, and let's say post race? Do you really kind of break down the different stages and your technique?
Yeah, we would, especially for like our block sessions and our sprint sessions, we'd have someone videoing for them for us, and then we'd watch them back. But we wouldn't dwell on them too much. Like we'd kind of just watch them after training, and that would be it. Like, you know what you have to kind of fix the next day, and same with the race. Like you'd watch the race after, like maybe the next day or that evening, and just kind of go through it and see what you did right and see what could do with work for the next time, and just go again and try and improve that.
And do you find if you watch a race that you're not in, like let's say for example the Olympic final, do you kind of find yourself watching the runners' techniques and their tactics, and do you kind of break that down, or do you just enjoy the races that you watch as a spectator?
I would just kind of just watch it to enjoy it, I suppose. Like their techniques are all like literally like perfect anyways, like, so it's not like I'd be breaking it down being like, oh god, she can improve that, like
Yeah.
yeah, I'd be more so just watching it to enjoy it.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, you're not going to text someone being like, yeah, you could actually work there on your lift or your technique. Yeah.
Yeah,
How do you,
exactly.
in terms of recovery and kind of post race, what are the kind of different methods you use, and how do you find maybe coming down off a race that maybe didn't go that well, and then I know sometimes there's cameras there and trying to do interviews, so that can get a bit frustrating sometimes.
Yeah, it can be hard sometimes, but like mainly I just try to get protein in, like, and kind of eat straight after the race, because you know, throughout the warm up, the race, and then like getting back to your bag and stuff, it can be quite a while since you've last ate. So it's just kind of getting food back into you, and ice baths or physio are kind of the main things that I go to. But yeah, in terms of the cameras, it can be a bit like not ideal when you're meeting someone at the finish line literally less than 60 seconds after you finish the race, and they're asking you questions on how it went, and it mightn't have gone well, or you don't really know, like you haven't even seen it back yourself yet. So yeah, but I think it's just part and parcel with it. It's something that you have to get used to, because they're always going to be there for the big races.
Okay.
So you get used to it. But yeah, it's definitely not easy coming off the track and going straight into interview straight after.
Mm-hmm. I know this year was sort of a disappointment. You mentioned your hamstring injury, but you signed with Puma. Talk us through that and the kind of what that means for an individual like yourself, because I suppose athletics in Ireland, as you said, sometimes the funding isn't there, and the travel and all the training is quite expensive as well.
Yeah, I started off the year really well, actually. I equaled my PB for 60 metres in January. So I was really happy with that, and I was so excited for the season. And then in my second race, I was in the Czech Republic, and I pulled my hamstring in the warm-up, the other hamstring. So I came home from that, and I was rehabbing that, and it recovered quite quickly. It was only kind of a small strain, a grade 1. So then I went to the European indoors. And then when I came back from that, me and my coach decided that we'd look for an agent to take over like my races and stuff, because before that I had just been kind of contacting the race directors myself, and it's a lot easier for someone else to do, because it's kind of about who you know almost, as opposed to like who you are. Oh well, obviously like once you're like at that level, like you're like a high level, you're almost guaranteed. But when you're just below that level, it's not as easy to get into the races, especially when we don't have too many big races in Ireland. So they're always abroad, and the home country is always allowed their athletes in the race, so they might be not as good as you, but they're always going to be in the race anyway. So so I signed with a new agent, and he was the one who got Puma for me. So yeah, that was like huge for me. I was so excited, and it's just nice to have someone who sees the potential in you, and it takes kind of the financial burden off you. Just like when you run well, there's a reward, as opposed to just you running well and you have a big bill at the end of it, like that. So it's just nice to have someone supporting you, I guess. And yeah, just even I was talking about it, one of the girls there recently, having like a nice race kit to wear, as opposed to going to like an international competition and you've all the girls in there Nike and Adidas and Puma, and you're there in your club or your country kit. It's nice to have a matching kit, and I think like how you feel when you're running actually makes a big difference on how you'll run.
Okay, brilliant. Yeah, I spotted your Whoop there as well. How do you find as well? Yeah, how do you find kind of tracking all your sleep and training and heart rate and all that?
Yeah, it's so interesting. Like, I think you can almost get like too sucked into it at times, like, because it's so interesting like that. So I kind of have to like remind myself, Ciara, come on, like you can't, like on the day of a race, I won't look at my recovery, because if I see my recovery is bad, like I might feel 100% perfect.
Yeah.
But if that tells me I'm bad, I'm like, oh God, Ciara, come on, like you're actually going to do this. Like, so I won't look at it on a race day. But yeah, it's so interesting. I think it's so helpful as well to see, like, if I'm not feeling good and I look at that and it tells me I'm not good on that either, it tells me that I need to kind of take a step back, that day or whatever.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense, because from chatting to you, I kind of get the sense that with sprinting in particular, like you're trying to balance reaching your peak, but then trying to maintain a peak without going over and getting injured. And unfortunately, you've had a couple of hamstring injuries, but you really have to like nearly push yourself to the max without sort of falling off. Is the understanding I'm getting from it?
Yeah, exactly. Like I think both my hamstring injuries this year, I think they've actually come from me being in such good shape that my hamstrings actually they're not ready for the speed that the rest of my body is able to go at.
Mm-hmm.
Like at the first time I pulled my hamstring, I had just equaled my personal best, and like I didn't even feel like it was that good of a race. Like I was surprised at the time, so I knew the next time like that it was going to be better. And then that's in the warm-up when I pulled my hamstring. So that, I think that makes it even worse, to be honest, like, because you're like, I was literally in the shape for a PB. And then it's the same in June when I pulled my hamstring. I think I'd done 2 races and I kind of was getting better each race. and putting my race together better as well. And then it happened again on the other side, and it was a lot worse that time. So yeah, it's just unfortunate, but I think they make you learn as well. Like you need to, keep an eye on things like that, and just try not to go over the line, I suppose.
Mm-hmm. I'm interested in the sort of mental side of the sport. If you could put it as sort of a percentage, how much is running physical versus mental?
I'd say 60-40 maybe. 60 physical, 40 mental. You definitely need to have the physical side in shape to run, but I think you can have all the physicality in the world, and if you're not mentally like in the right place or mentally strong, then it's not going to go well for you. So I think definitely need to work on both, and they both play such a huge part in it, especially like if the race is so short. Like if you're not like in the right headspace at the start, you're not going to have a good start, and the race is going to be over before you can even get started. It's definitely something that you need to work on as well as the physical element.
Overall, from all the ups and downs of your career, I suppose, what is your definition of success?
I think for me, it's being happy with the results, or with whatever it is. I think like over my career so far, you learn like to actually enjoy the moments, as opposed to seeing your time on the clock and being like, not happy with it, even though it actually might be like your second best ever or something like that, or you might have won what people ahead of you were world class or that. But I think for me, like success is definitely being happy and healthy. Because if I'm happy with the race, then that's a success for me. I know what I'm capable of as well, so it's not like I'm going to be happy with something that's below par. So I think happy success will be happy and healthy for me.
Brilliant. Looking towards the future, what's the plan? What are the goals going forward? I suppose Paris is not that far away, and usually it's a little bit longer than now, but what are you looking forward to over the next couple of years?
2022 is going to be a big year, with the World Indoors in March, and then followed by the European Indoors and the European Outdoors and World Outdoors in the summer. So that's going to be a big year. So I'm really excited for that. So we'll definitely be aiming to qualify for all of them. And then 2023 will be about, kind of getting points for the Olympic qualification, and then 2024 will all be about Paris. So I'm very excited for the next few years ahead. I think like I'll be getting stronger and better as well. Like as I'm 21 now, so I'll be 24 in Paris. So I'm just really excited to see how they go, and hopefully I can get some kind of the qualification ball rolling early, as opposed to just leaving it all to 2024.
I'm going to wrap it up with the sideline 7. It's the same 7 questions at the end of every podcast. Question 1: what is your favourite quote?
I think I was thinking a lot about this. I think I literally narrowed it down to 2 that have kind of summed up like this year almost for me. First one is what's meant to be will always find its way. Like that's something I have to keep reminding myself about. Like you didn't get to Tokyo, but you'll be there in 2024, and you obviously just weren't meant to be there this year. And then another one is take the risk or lose the chance. I took a big risk to run the nationals in June, I think it was, end of June, because I knew that if I didn't run that, I wouldn't be going to the Olympics. And like at the time, I wasn't really sure how long I'd be out with the injury, and we felt like we could run without doing more damage. And if I had managed to run like half decent, I could have slipped on the plane to Tokyo, and I might have been better. The injury might have been better by the time Tokyo came around. It wasn't meant to be, but so I took the risk anyways. I didn't want to be left wondering like, what if I had ran, and what if I'd qualified, would I have been able to go and all that. So those two have been at the forefront of my mind this year.
What was it like watching Tokyo from home, kind of knowing you did take the risk? Unfortunately, you didn't get there. Did you find it hard to watch that because you had a chance of maybe going?
I didn't watch much of it, to be honest. I was kind of just normally I'd be glued to TV, but this year around it was just a bit tough to watch. Bit of a bitter pill to swallow. So I was kind of just focusing on myself, focusing on my rehab, and using it as a bit of a motivator to get back stronger and better.
Brilliant. Best sporting event you've been to?
I think it would have to be the European outdoors in 2018. Yeah, 2018. Yeah, it was in Berlin, and Thomas Barr came third. I don't know if you remember that, but it was in the Olympic Stadium in Berlin, and there was, I think, 75,000 people there or something.
Yeah.
We were there for the relay, so we were able to actually kind of enjoy a bit of it after the relay.
Yeah.
And even like before the relay, because the relay wasn't until the end, so we were able to go to the stadium and watch. That was my first senior outdoor championship as well, so I think that was just kind of showed me how big the stage actually was. So it made me excited for the future, and yeah, it inspired me.
Do you have any particular favourite race you've ran yourself?
I think my favourite race that I've ran myself is probably Nationals 2019 outdoors. I ran my personal best there, and it was kind of a big breakthrough. Like, it was a big personal best for me. I'd kind of been running like around the 11:50s for such a long time, and then to finally drop to 11:33, it was just huge, because I knew that I had that in me. It just needed all to come together, and it was such a nice day in Santry as well. Santry's so nice with the sun out. So yeah, that was probably my favourite race so far.
I'm interested in terms of sort of medals versus PB. What would you rather? Now, ideally, you want both, but like if you had the choice of a PB or a medal, what would you want?
If it was an international medal, definitely a medal. But I think throughout the season, it's kind of funny because it changes a lot. Like, at the end of the season is always when the big competition is. So like, there's when you want the medal, but throughout the season, then you want the personal best, because there isn't actually medals throughout the year at all the international, the European circuit races. So yeah, overall probably a PB, or a medal, I mean, but throughout the season a PB.
Very good. You wouldn't say no to it, obviously.
Yeah.
Biggest setback. No yeah. Biggest setback or challenge so far in your career?
Definitely the hamstring this year. That's definitely been the biggest injury I've had. It's like, I think it's nearly 4 months ago now since I did it, and I still am back to running like properly. So yeah, definitely that this year. It's been such a challenge, and I think with COVID and everything just makes everything a little worse, and with the Olympics being on too, it just hurt a little more. So that's definitely been the biggest challenge for me, and probably taking the biggest toll on me as well.
Mm-hmm. Kind of on the flip side then, a bit more positive, your biggest achievement on or off the track?
I think my biggest achievement is definitely on the track. I haven't had too much big achievements off the track. But I think probably the silver medal at the World Juniors with the relay, and then individually probably be both the gold medal when I was EYOF in 2015, just because I was so young. That was huge for me then, and my only individual international medal to date. And then the 11:33 for me at nationals was huge as well. That was a big breakthrough, like in terms of time, as opposed to actual achieve, medal or achievement like that. So I think they're the biggest so far. Hopefully there'll be more now in the coming future.
Absolutely. You're only 21, but looking back, what advice would you give your 18-year-old self?
I think it would be to just like keep the faith and trust the process. Like when things don't go your way when you're young, you might get easily like annoyed and just be like, oh, like I'm just gonna leave it. Like, I don't like, is it really worth all the hassle? And then definitely I think for me as well would be to just enjoy the small moments, because sometimes, like, if you win something, you're like, oh, but my time wasn't good, or like people in different countries are running way faster than me. So just enjoy the small things. Like, I remember my coach gave me a notepad. I'd say it was actually around 2018, to be honest, which gave me a notepad, and it said on the front of it, enjoy the little things, because one day you may look back and realize they were the big things. And I think that just kind of stuck with me, like, to enjoy all the things along the way, because when you're having a bad time, like, it's nice to look back and remember the things, as opposed to just remembering that, oh, I didn't really celebrate that, or I didn't enjoy it, even though it was, a good achievement.
That's lovely. I love that little message at the start of the notebook. That's so nice, because I was listening to Brian Gregan. He was saying, I think his friend told him, or he does it now, but he's like, celebrate every PB like it's your last, because it could be like a really small thing, but you don't know, like, technically that could be your the best PB you've ever gotten. But celebrate the small things, because when you look back eventually when you retire, as you said, that might be the biggest thing, but you just didn't celebrate at the time.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I ran my indoor PB in 2017. So So I was literally 17. I ran 7:30, and it was an equal national record at the time. But I think like I didn't celebrate it as much as I not that you'd be great celebrating like, you know, too much, like, but I didn't enjoy it as much. Like I think because it was almost like a shock. Like I didn't actually know how good it was. Like, and now, you know, I'm 21 and I still haven't broken the PB. Like, so it just shows like to, you know, enjoy every PB because you never know when it's going to come around again.
Do you think that resilience and like enjoyment that you spoke about are probably two of the biggest lessons you've learned from sport, or are there any other kind of standout lessons that you've kind of learned along the way?
I think, yeah, like just have like resilience and enjoying it definitely are two huge ones that I've learned along the way. And I think another one is just like being confident in yourself. Like I run the best when I'm confident in myself and I know what I'm capable of, as opposed to me just like not sure, you know, like I'm not sure how this is going to go. But yeah, like when it's hard to say like enjoying it, because like I'll always enjoy it when it's going well, but it's hard to enjoy it when it's not going so well. I think it's just a balance of all of them, really.
Very good. Final question, or no, second last question. Dream dinner guest and why? And you can pick a few for this one. I don't mind.
I was thinking about this. Yeah, I think I would have to, if I pick one person, I definitely would have to stick within the athletics, as opposed to going elsewhere. But I think it would have to be Alison Felix, just because she's just unreal and she's so much knowledge and experience, I feel, to share. Like she's the most decorated, I think, women track and field athlete of all time in the Olympics or something like that. So I think 5 minutes of her would be worth a lot to hear what she has to say. So yeah, I think I'd have to go with her.
Final question before I let you go. If your life was a book, what chapter would this be called?
The first thing that actually came to mind when I was thinking about this was a quote, or like something that Hannah Montana said in the movie. Like so random. She said that life's a climb, but the view is great. So I think this chapter would have to be called Life's a Climb, just because of how tough everything's been. But yeah, hopefully the next chapter can be called The View is Great. But we haven't quite got the view yet. But yeah, I think that's what I'd have to go with.
Brilliant. That's a great answer. Ciara, look, thanks so much for your time. I really appreciate you coming on. I just want to wish you the very best of luck moving forward with everything, both on and off the track. And yeah, just thanks a million for coming on.
Thanks so much for having me.
A massive thank you to Ciara for joining me today. I'll be sure to leave all of her social media links below if you'd like to keep up with her journey. I just want to wish her the very best of luck moving forward. If you did enjoy the episode and you are listening on Apple Podcasts, I'd really appreciate it if you could leave a rating and a review, as it does help the show grow. Don't forget to check out the brand new website, thesidelivelive.com, for more. Thanks for listening, and I'll catch you in the next one.